The government today communicated to the Speaker of the National Assembly its request for the National Assembly to await the outcome of the matter in the High Court before proceeding with matters surrounding the parliamentary committees. The opposition has asked for the National Assembly to sit on Wednesday, March 21, to address the matters of those committees. However, the government had earlier filed a motion in the High Court against the behaviour of the opposition in Parliament. The government's contention is that it would not allow what it described as the one-seat dictatorship to bend all the rules and conventions governing the operations of the Assembly. The main sticking point at this time is the composition of the parliamentary committees, which the opposition is seeking to change. For instance, the opposition wants to reduce the 10-member committees to 9, something the government is opposed to. In addition, the opposition wants to give itself one more member on those committees over the number allotted to the government.
My dear members of the press, these are ominous developments in the Parliament of Guyana, and they are ominous in terms of the threat to democracy of this country. And it is being done with a recklessness and a blatant opportunism that flies in the face, as my colleague minister, Dr. Ashley Singh said, that flies in the face of their own declarations of working towards cooperation and partnership.
The People's National Congress is not a party that is known for its democratic credentials. And I don't believe that any historian challenges that anymore. Any credible historian challenges the People's National Congress's lack of distinction for commitment when it comes to commitment to democracy. The APNU presented itself to the electorate as ostensibly as a reinvented political force, clothed even if with the thin veil of a new name, but essentially the same political entity that was the PNC. What you have here is essentially a political party that is saying that notwithstanding that we only got 40% of the vote and you got 49, notwithstanding that we only have 26 seats and you have 32, we are demanding that we must get the same number of seats on the committees as you have. And that, I believe, makes a very powerful statement about their recognition of the principles of fairness and about their commitment to democracy.
Meanwhile, with regards to yesterday's sitting and the eventual passage of Financial Paper Number 8, the government today said it welcomed the decision of the Speaker to find favour with its arguments. At the same time, however, the government expressed its displeasure at the fact that the parliamentary opposition chose not to support the papers, which were basically donor funding for developmental programs.
And the Assembly has in fact a tradition of unanimous support of foreign inflows coming into the country. In fact, on the previous occasion, I actually made reference to a public position taken by the late Mr. Winston Murray that he would not oppose any item that involved financial inflows coming into the country. And if you look at some of the projects, one, for example, related to the recording of financial inflows in relation to the Education for All Fast Track Initiative, a World Bank supported project. And mind you, these are projects that are under execution. These are disbursements that have been made. And this is an administrative requirement to ensure that the additional disbursements are recorded. If you look at the Education for All initiative, the Fast Track initiative under the Education for All program, this is a well-known program that promotes universal access to education, and in particular in Guyana has done outstanding work in the hinterland, provision of housing for teachers in hinterland regions, provision of grants to hinterland schools, support for the payment of a remote areas incentive to teachers who teach in the hinterland, and support for the hinterland school feeding program.
Finance Minister Dr. Ashni Singh says there can be no rationale for anyone to oppose donors' money for education and other developmental projects. As such, he posited that such behavior is not consistent with any opposition committed to development.